Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to our very first Thriller Thursday. It's a bit of a hot mess, as you can tell. I'm in a kimono because I couldn't be bothered getting dressed and I'm not entirely myself today, but we're working through it. If you don't know who I am, I'm Anne and I'm an author, but I'm here to talk about books I've read and do my makeup. That's what we're doing today. We are talking about these two books right here, Mexican Gothic and Home Before Dark. These two books that I've got through Book of the Month. I really highly recommend Book of the Month. Not sponsored, but if you want to sponsor me, you can. So yeah. I've got quite a few thrillers from Book of the Month that I'm also wanting to talk about, so I'm going to mix it up. There are other ones that I like. There's a new Karen Slaughter book that I'm so excited about, but yeah, really into Book of the Month, and I've been really happy with a lot of the books that I've got so far. There's not been one that I haven't actually liked. So really like these two books, but today we are going to talk about them while I do my makeup. I'm going to put all the products that I use down below, and yeah, wasn't exactly what I was after today, but she looks okay. It's fine. Yeah, so I just want to thank you all so much for watching. I know this is not romance, but I think it suits the theme since my fiance and I just released a thriller. Shameless plug. We did a video on that, so if you want to watch the video, I'll put a little link to it up somewhere or here or whatever. But if you like the whole makeup and books thing, if you like me, if you think this is cool, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and we will dive right into talking about the books and me doing my makeup. As I said, she's a bit of a hot mess. I'm having some struggles, but it's all gonna be okay. It'll be okay. So yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching and bearing with this crazy bitch. Without further ado, you're gonna see a bare-faced me with a little bit of skin issues, but don't worry, it all works out well in the end. All right, thanks guys, and let's get into the video.
Start, and I go on, and I go off, and I go out. Scouty, keep going me.
I love you.
Ow, and I go mirror.
Ow. Ow. I love you. I will.
Keep going.
Okay, so first off, I'm gonna let you guys know.
Interruption.
What?
This one, just in case.
Oh, thanks. Throw it
It's
on
good.
the ground.
Well, I didn't know where to put it.
That's what he said. Sorry for the interruption. So, as a disclaimer, I'm gonna say I'm a slight bit of a mess. Nails, very chapped. I'm battling like an ear infection slash...
That's what who said?
Taylor! I'm battling like an ear infection slash, I don't really know what it is. And I don't like going to the doctor, because I already went to the doctor for my ear infection and I already got antibiotics, but I'm just not in a good way. So I'm sorry if my energy's a little down, but I don't know. Maybe it goes with it because it's like Thriller Thursday. My very first one! Oh my gosh. I thought that, like, you know, I'm feeling a little bit down, so I thought it might help me to get glam, feel good. So that's what I'm doing. And we have two books to talk about today. I think I want to do three, but I'm just going to do two today, okay? These two I have read really recently. So we've got Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Hopefully I said that right. And Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I probably didn't say that right either. So I do have them right here, and they've got here on them. I got these through Book of the Month, so I probably would have already talked about this in the intro. So what should I talk about first? Should I talk about Home Before Dark first? I don't know. Maybe I will. So, such a good cover. I've heard really good things about Riley Sager. What foundation was I using last time? I think it was the Wet n Wild one. It smells like paint thinner, but works pretty well. What did I say? Home Before Dark by Riley. I don't know. Is this? Just put it all on, girl. Put it all on. Wow, that's a lot. So this book centers around Maggie. I think it's her last name Holt. Oh my gosh, I cannot fucking for the life of me figure out people's names, and I only read this like last week. So this book centers around our main character. It's called Maggie. And is it? I think it's first person, actually. Let me double check. Yeah, it is first person. Just double checking that. Which is quite interesting because thrillers, usually a third person. First person is usually reserved for like romance. No, it's not a rule though. Like that's the whole good thing about writing is you can do whatever the fuck you want. And personally, I used to prefer first person, but I don't really care now. I've written books both in first and third person, and yeah. So this story is about Maggie, and we learn about a place called Banbury House, which is like, it has like Amityville horror vibes. So she's all grown up, but this kind of has a book within a book. Am I explaining this well already? No, I don't think I am. So pretty much Maggie's father made this fortune off writing the book. It's like a ghost story, or House of Horrors is the name of the book. And it talks about how back in the day, he and his wife and Maggie moved into this house, this creepy gothic looking house, and stayed, I think it was for only 20 something days because it was haunted. And he like wrote it like, because he was like a struggling writer, but non-fiction. And he wrote it like it was non-fiction, and it became this big thing. He's like, this is our experience in this haunted house. And he like made all this money off it and got really famous. And then Maggie was like infamous. So she had this like hatred for that book and the house because she thought her father was lying. She was like, you made all this money off a lie, but you're saying it was true. And pretty much it's just like haunted her whole entire life. And she's just really in this deep kind of resentment towards her father and mother, and her father and mother end up breaking up. You know, is it because of the ghost story or what? So gosh, can I breathe? So let's fast forward to where Maggie's an adult now, and her job is like she's like flips houses with her friend, and her father has passed away, and she's just found out that she was left Banbury House. I think it's called Banbury House. And you know, her father's dying words were like, don't go back there. So this book is split into two parts. This is Maggie going back to Banbury House. Like she thinks, oh no, I'm gonna remodel it and like flip it and sell it for a profit, you know, and also maybe like exorcise some demons because she has so many like ill feelings towards the house and like what it represented. And then we actually go, it goes between, so, you know, her experience of going back to the house and all of that. And then it goes between the book. So it's a book within a book, which is something I actually normally hate. Like Stephen King's Misery, one of my favorite books by him, but I skipped the whole book within a book thing because I'm just like, I hate saying this about Stephen King because he's the master of all things. But I don't know, I almost felt like it was like it's a filler. So I usually am like, no, but I will say I was really engaged in the book than a book thing because we don't know, like, is this going to be a supernatural ghost story, or is it, you know, because like she believes that there is a rational explanation for this, and then, but we never told whether there was a lie or not. She just thinks it is. So she goes back, and when she goes back to the house, she just starts experiencing all this kind of similar things to what her father experienced, like music turning on and sounds and all this weird kind of shit. And so it flips between her experiencing that and meeting like all these people from this tiny little town that pretty much hate her because of like what the book turned their town and the house into, because the house has like this sordid history. Like this guy went crazy and killed his daughter and then himself, and then like way back there's this like creepy old guy that like owned the house and he did all this shady stuff. So there were a lot of deaths connected to the house, so it like stood to reason that there could be hauntings. And at first she's like, I don't believe in ghosts, I'm gonna fix this out and like fix this up and all that. And then, as I said, it gives you chapters of the books to kind of experience what the book was and what her father supposedly experienced when she was a little girl. And actually Maggie can't remember any of this. She can't remember any of her time there. So she's kind of like going to see if she can remember, because all the memories she has are what's written in the book. And she's like, but that's real, not real, because she believes her father was a liar this entire time. Like, she's like, there's no such thing as ghosts, blah, 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 blah. But then, as I say, weird things start happening at the house, you know, as she stays longer. And there's a really scary scene with snakes. I hate it. And we are like left wondering, like, we're not told whether it is haunted or not until the end. I won't spoil the ending for you just in case you haven't read it. But it's not until right at the end that we kind of figure out the real history of it all. And it is like, I actually really enjoyed it because I liked the writing style. It was really easy to read and engaging and all that. As an author, I do find it a little bit hard to read things like thrillers because, like, I have an author brain, so I do kind of catch a lot of the Easter eggs that thriller authors put there to kind of give you a hint, and I'm like, oh, I already know who freaking did this, and I'm like, no, we need to finish. But to be fair, it wasn't right until the end. I was like, well, is it real or is it not? Is it haunted or not? I didn't know, which I really liked. I really liked the writing style. As I said, I really liked the book within a book thing, which is so unusual for me because I'm normally stay so far away from that. So I thought that was really cool. I thought the idea like the Amityville horror kind of type thing, but with a different spin on it. I really liked, there were a lot of other characters like from the past, like the widow of the guy who killed himself and his daughter, and then there was like the caretakers that have been with the house for generations, one of whom was like the mother of a girl who mysteriously went missing on the night that they fled the house. And then there's like the cop who took the call and all of that and who investigated it, and this cop was like, no. Yeah, so there was a lot of people like from the book, the infamous book, that she encounters while she's trying to she's like partly trying to discover like what the freaking hell is going on, and she wants to know the truth. So yeah, she wants to like uncover the truth. She wants to get some of her memories because, you know, it's like her whole life this has followed her around, and like everyone knows it, and it's really just screwed up her life, like her relationships, her friendships. Like, it's like it was this big sensation. So why do I do it? I always take things down my neck and it always ends in disaster for me. So yeah, I found it to be super engaging. Super engaging, really well written, and I don't know what to say. I will say I was a little bit disappointed at what happens in the end. I thought it was a really unique way to end it. I definitely wasn't expecting the end that it had. I was slightly disappointed at the ending. Like, I don't want to spoil it, but if you've read it and you know the ending, what did you think? Did you like it or not? Let me know down below. So I definitely think it's worth a read. Like, it's a really good, like, it's a nice, easy thriller to read, I think, apart from the snake thing. I didn't like that. My biggest fear is snakes. I didn't like that at all. So yeah, really, really liked that. Would recommend, highly recommend. All right, next up, we are going to do Mexican Gothic. That's the name of it, right? Yes, Mexican Gothic. And also, can we just like all be super impressed with the cover? I really hope that I'm actually like coming across okay, you guys. I don't feel 100% like myself, but we're just gonna work with it. And I know I'm looking at the monitor heaps. I'm just like self-conscious about the fact that my face looks really shiny. I'm just a mess. Just a big old mess. All right, Mexican Gothic. So let's talk about that. Set in Mexico in the 1950s, which I actually didn't, this is written third person, by the way. I actually didn't know when it was set until I think like a few chapters in. There was like a passing reference, or maybe I missed another reference. That could very well be the case. But for me, I didn't realize it was set in the 1950s. I knew it was set in the past because of like, you know, just the setting and like all of that. But I didn't know quite when until it was like quite a few chapters in, which isn't a big deal, but I'm just letting you know this. I really liked the way it began. I really liked the writing. I will say it was a little hard for me to get into it first, but I persevered, and then I was like, oh my god, I can't put this down because I want to know what the fuck is happening. So Naomi is, I hope I'm saying, like, it's spelt kind of like Naomi, but it's maybe there's an accent there that I'm missing, and I'm really sorry if I am. Okay, so the plot is Naomi. I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry if I am. She is at a party because she's a party girl. She's kind of like a socialite. She's all about fashion. She's just cool. She's a cool gal, and she wants, like, this isn't obviously in Mexico in the 1950s, so her main goal in life should be finding a husband according to society, but she, you know, wants to like learn, and she wants to be an anthropologist, and she's really knowledgeable, super intelligent. First thing I'm going to say, I love that. And anyway, so she gets pulled out of this party by her dad being like, we got this really disturbing letter from your cousin who is recently married, and it's like really worrying me, and I want you to go and check if she's okay, because they barely even know her husband. He, like, the marriage was really quick, and they only just met him like once, and they were just like, because her family's quite wealthy, and her dad like adopted her cousin, and he was just like, oh, just don't feel good about this, so you need to go and check on your cousin and make sure she's okay. And I think she doesn't want to, obviously, because she's like party girl. She's like, I've got my life here. And then they kind of make this deal. He's like, well, oopsies. Well, if you go and check on her, then you can go back to school again and study to anthropology like you always wanted. So she's like, okay, I'll do this. So she goes to this like tiny town in Mexico. I don't know the location. I've forgotten it already. But she goes to this tiny town, and then she's like picked up by this kind of like curious young man who's part of the family and taken to what is known as the High Place. And it's like this really gothic mansion, and like there's all these ravines, and it's gloomy, and there's like mist around, and it's like up this winding road, and it's just everything like the old English gothic mansion that you could envision. So she gets there, and like the place is like super weird and like musty, and just like there's no electricity, everything's candlelight, everything's worn down. It's like once was grand, but it's just in disarray, and like everyone's super rude to her, and like everyone's just really weird. Like she doesn't even see her cousin. Then she's greeted by, I think it's like her cousin's husband's aunt, I'm pretty sure, and she's like super rude to her. She's like, there's all these house rules, and this like place is kind of like a shithole, and she shows her to a room. I need to pluck my eyebrows. She shows her to her room, and it's just like really musty and just like weird. And then she has dinner with them. Still hasn't seen her cousin, I don't think. And she's like, where the fuck's my cousin? Like, I got this crazy letter from her saying that there's like people living in the walls and stuff. Yeah, because her cousin's letter said like the wolves are alive, or like something bad is happening, and everyone's like, what the fuck? And so they're like, oh no, have dinner with us, but like you're not allowed to speak during dinner, you have to sit here in silence. And it's just like super gloomy, and she's like, what the heck? And then also they're an English family who immigrated and opened like this mine that is now closed because there was like this tragedy kind of shrouding it, and which we learn more about further in the book. So the family fortune has been somewhat drained, which is why Naomi's dad was like, is he a fortune hunter? So anyway, she thinks everyone's really weird, and they're like pretty rude to her, and then this like old grandpa comes down, the patriarch, I guess, of the family comes down, and he like starts making really comments about like the master race and the inferior race, and she just like is real sassy with him because she's obviously studied anthropology, so she knows a lot about things like that, and she just gets like bad vibes, you know, bad vibes. All right, the battery just died, so I hope we're all okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so she's like gets bad vibe from this place from the start. she sees her cousin finally, who they say, the family says, has been suffering from, I think, TB, they say. And they're like, she sees her and she's like, seems okay, but she's also like, well, why did you send this weird message? And then she kind of has these weird ramblings that it's just weird. And then there's a lot going on. I'm going to say that. I feel like I shouldn't go too far into it, but so she sees her cousin and she's not entirely convinced. She's like, she just gets the bad vibes from this place. She's like, I don't like it here. The food sucks. Can't talk to anyone. Anyway, they're just, everyone's weird. So she slowly starts to kind of realize that there was this big plague that killed, there's like a cemetery at the back of the high place. And that's where everyone from the mine, there was this epidemic that like all of these people died, and it pretty much eventually shut down the mine. And there's this like big cemetery with everyone like buried there, but then also it's like the only the English people, because we obviously find out that the freaking granddad's like super racist. He believes in like the master race type thing, and she just hates him. She hates the whole family because they're all weird, like, and like they still have like servants, but like none of them talk to her. Apart from the only person she kind of feels like a connection with is this like kind of slightly strange cousin Francis, who's like kind to her, but like he looks sickly a little bit, she says. So she's just kind of like, oh my god, just this place sucks, pretty much. Then she goes into town and she's just like, I want to figure out what's wrong. And there's just like this mystery, like why are there all these random rules? And then she starts having all these weird dreams that like the house is like haunted, and these like whisperings in the walls, and she can hear buzzings, and it just starts to get like super weird in like a good way. Like she starts to suspect that either something is like psychologically wrong with, she knows that like this is not as it seems. She knows that her cousin like doesn't have freaking TB. Everything feels like way too weird for that, and she's just like, what is this place? And she tries to, you know, do some exploring and reading up on like what the freaking Henry is going on here. And Virgil, who is her new cousin-in-law, I guess, he's like really apparently attractive and like robust and like quite arrogant, and you can tell like they resent Naomi being sent here, because they're like, this is our weird little life in our dark freaking mansion that's like full of mold and cobwebs, and like it's just really weird. I really like it. Was definitely like intelligently written, super intelligently written, and Naomi was a super strong character, especially for the time. Like she was like super smart, and she's like, what the fuck is this place, pretty much, and just like, what is going on? She knows that there's something more going on. And I also like that this book keeps me guessing. So it's like, well, what is going on? Is it haunted? Are they just like a family of cannibals? Like, or is it some like demon? Because I don't know. I love a good ghost story. So I am like not looking towards the rational explanation. Like, give me the reason. Like, is it demons? It's demons, right? Like, if you tell me it's demons, I'm gonna be happy. So I don't even really know what I'm doing with my eyes, guys. I think I'm just gonna do kind of like, I don't know, a dark smoky eye, maybe. I'm not really doing anything too special. I might do a little bit of black in here, but I don't know. Yeah, I love a good supernatural story, so I'm really down for like anything that has like elements that like are unbelievable to most people. Like I know I am gonna call this a thriller. I don't think it's a ghost story. I think it's definitely a thriller. I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't want to say what the ending is, but I will say the ending is not at all what I expected it was gonna be. I was like, and that's why honestly I kept reading, because it was like, there's obviously something going on. Like we know there's something going on, but we don't really know what it is. Like what's giving her these dreams? Like what is wrong? Like what was this plague about? Why is everyone so fucking weird? Like, it's just like, there's this like shroud of mystery that I really wanted to get to the bottom of, which is like something that you want when you're reading, obviously. Getting so hot, guys. There wasn't like, I don't think either of these books had like any, well, kind of. Mexican Gothic has a little bit of romance in it, which I really appreciated, because a book doesn't have to have romance in it for me to like it or even like want to read it. I am happy not to have any romance, but I do think that every story really, like, romance can thread through it. But oh my god, so much fallout, you guys. Cheapers. Oh, thanks for ruining my makeup. Jesus. We'll fix that in a moment. That black is like going everywhere. That's what I get for trying to put some black on and trying to smoke this out, you guys. Should I tell you which one's a little bit more supernatural? Oh, I don't really... See, I don't think either of them are supernatural. I think they are both true thrillers. If you want like a slither of romance, tiny slither, that's all you're gonna get. I would go with Mexican Gothic. I also think it's a really unique thing, like it's set in Mexico. There's a lot of history and like locales that we learn about, and I just think both of these books were really different for me. I haven't read either of these authors before. I'm so annoyed about that black. I haven't read either of these authors before. I was like super into their writing. I thought like both of them were engaging because both of them has the mystery of like, well, what is really going on in this house? Because there's both these houses that are like got some weird shit going on, you know. We know that there's weird stuff going on, but we don't quite know what it is. So yeah, I think like they have this quite you're a mess, girl, sort it out. They have like similar kind of concepts to them. They're both in a house where a woman, I really like it, both have women protagonists, which I really like. What am I doing? I was actually thinking the other day, I did like a dark eye, and I'm like, oh, I don't really suit a dark eye anymore. I used to be all about them in high school. Freaking went through that lovely emo phase that we all go through. Well, not all of us, but I know I did. And then I tried it out the other day. I'm like, oh, I kind of prefer like a lighter eye on me. But I thought, you know, thriller, let's do a slightly darker eye. Anyway, as I said, both books have like strong female characters that are like, you know, going up against forces unknown. Really liked. I think I like both of the characters. As I said, they were both like kind of different than you would expect them to be. Obviously Maggie in Home Before Dark, she's like, you know, works in construction and she's really capable. And, you know, there's a scene where she first arrives where like the handyman, very attractive handyman, who I was pining for a relationship with. And it didn't happen. Spoiler alert, sorry. He's kind of like, oh, well, I'll help you do this. And she's like, no, I can do this. So I really liked that. You know, a woman loves a strong woman in a book. Thought that was really cool. They both have like a lot of side characters. I just think they were really like, they're everything you want from a thriller. They've got like a strong kind of lead that you obviously really like. And then you've got like a mystery where you're like, well, I have to finish this book in order to like figure out what the heck's going on. Which I really like thrillers. I've definitely that's not the word, gravitated towards them a lot more, which is like good because I just wrote a thriller with my fiance. Yeah, I really do like, because I really like romance, but I like having a thriller in there too. I'm really into thrillers, so this is why I'm doing it, because especially like female centric thrillers, I feel like there's this like notion that thrillers are just for guys, and I just, oh, that was almost bad, and I just kind of want to nip that away. Like, thrillers are not just for guys, they're for girls too. Oh, do I like this or not? I don't know. Is it too dark? Anyway, yeah, I feel like there is definitely this notion, like, I'm going to do a whole video on Stephen King and kind of myth busting the idea that Stephen King's like horror and just for guys or something, because that couldn't be further from the truth. But I definitely think that sometimes, not all the time, maybe I'm making a generalization that you don't agree with, but a lot of the time women feel like, I don't know, like, I don't want to read a thriller, but because for whatever reason, and especially if you're a romance reader, I get it. You just want a good romance, you just want to feel safe, and you want the escape. And I feel you, girl. But sometimes a good thriller. She's also really good. Do we want to wing? What do you guys think? I'm sorry, this is a bit tangent-y too. I'm not, as I said at the start, I'm not feeling my best, and I just really wanted to perk myself up a little bit. What was I saying? I really hope this brush is clean. So I think if you like maybe haven't read a lot of thrillers and you kind of want to dip your toes in, I think these are really good. So my laptop just died, which is also my viewfinder, so I don't even know what's going on right now. This could all be for naught. Might have to film this freaking thing again. Anyway, I always feel weird when I can't see myself because I really feel like I'm talking to myself. I don't even know if I like this look, you guys. Maybe once I put my lashes on, it will be okay. Oh, my eyebrows are a bit of a mess too, guys. Why did no one tell me? Alright, so I really, really liked both of these. As I said, haven't read either of these authors before. Definitely going to buy more from them. And I don't know, if I was going to lean towards one, I would say I liked Mexican Gothic more. But I don't know, because I also think that the fact that Home Before Dark really got me into the book within a book theme that isn't really my wheelhouse. I'm really impressed with that. So, alright, so I'm going to charge my laptop, do my hair, and I'll be right back. You guys, it has been somewhat of a journey since the last time you saw me. I know I said I was going to do my hair, but I didn't. This is just my hair for the day. I'm so casual today. Yeah. We had a bit of trouble with the eyelashes, and then I put a red lip on, and it didn't work out. So this is just what we have. Anyway, I should have just known better to do this when I feel like such shit. But to be fair, I don't hate it. It didn't really go to plan. I should always have a plan. I should always have like a little picture of what I want. But we're here. This is it. Gosh, I hope I explained enough about the books. I'm sorry if I didn't. But anyway, both of them really good reads, really worth it. Highly recommend. And yeah, I will be doing more Thriller Thursdays because, as I said, I do like mixing my genres up. I know maybe a lot of you who watch me maybe are romance readers, so don't worry, we're still doing Smart Saturday or Sunday. I can't decide which one I'm going to do yet. Like, the whole reason I'm doing this is to get me to read more, which is inevitably going to get me to write more, because the only way to write more is to read more. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm going to read as much as I can and hopefully film as much as I can, because as I said, it does help me kind of like get my creativity out, all that jazz. Even if I do get a little bit annoyed with fucking my makeup. Anyway, jeepers. Thank you so much for watching this hot little mess, and let me know if you've read these or any good thrillers you've read lately, anything you want me to do, just have a chat with me in the comments. Yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.